And if you go into a household, and let's say it's a Christian household, the activity is completely different than a pagan household. A non-religious household, the activity is completely different because it feeds off your thoughts. So we started doing experiments where we would conduct EVPs, and then when we would do it in the location, we would all think it. So I would have my 4 people I trusted, so we'd say the question out loud, and we would think it. And then we'd give that energy to try to get a response back. And then was it a ghost, or was it intelligent, or was it dimensional beings? What I found out as we started bouncing around these homes and these cases like that, it's really like it's a trickster. It's some type of dimensional being. It's an intelligence, and it mimics things. And I go back to what I taught as a little boy. My grandmother practiced hoodoo, and she always said, if you ever see a ghost in your sleep and at night, if you can't see their eyes or can't see their feet, they're not real. And then when I got older and I started doing the research, and I would always ask these questions, and they was like, no. And that's something that's found true, and I always thought super interesting. Because when people see certain entities, they always see their eyes are down, don't see their feet. We had a case where a principal, him and his wife moved from Georgia to a small town, and they bought a house getting it renovated. And anytime you hear about renovations and everything else, then you start dealing with energy. And you start dealing with residual hauntings. If you go in and investigate on a normal night, nothing's there. But if you look for moon phases, thunderstorms, if you have a paranormal team, that's the night you want to be in there. When it's charged, then you can have something happen. For example, I see a lady walk through the wall. You pull the blueprint and see it's a bit more there. You leave an energy imprint if you do something over and over. And a lot of times it's charged. Same thing like when you go to battlefields and you play the drums, like drum beats and certain marching, you'll get reactions back, and so on. So then you start to think now, that's one thing. So we go to this house, it's principals, and they started doing the renovations, and the family was having issues. It started broke down, and we would go. We had a pastor that worked with us, and we had a nurse, and then when I had two police officers, we did the cases. We did our interviews, and the guy told me the craziest story. Him and his wife had an argument, and he was asleep in the den one night. And as he was sleeping in the den, he was awakened, and there was a little girl standing over him. He couldn't see her eyes. She was just looking over him. She had blondish hair. He could tell. She turned and walked away, and she had hooves, not feet. And so when people tell you stories like that, that's some of them, that sinister thing that you're looking for. Like, check, that's sinister, because that sticks to your soul. And when you start to work with these cases and you have these certain things that happen, it sticks to you. And when you work these cases, it's not really why you're there. It's nothing happens. We worked the case, and we made ourselves. We got all the way home. We walked into our house. It was a dark case where there was a suicide involved. We come in our house. Every cabinet in the entire house was open. Bathroom, kitchen. There's a cabinet door. It was open. We freaked out, so we did a cleanse. So let's just go to the movies, find something funny. All of our debit cards, all of our cards, the magnet was gone. So whatever happened in that household, there's something more, but they follow you. Or are they following you, or are they following that thoughts, that energy? And you live that imprint, you come in, and then you start dealing with these individual cases, then you start dealing with these things I call spiritual residue, where you get so oppressed that these things starts to attach to you. And it affects every aspect of your life. It don't have to show itself as a true ghost or anything else. It's just purebred oppression of negativity, and you don't break it off. And you see that a lot of folks, like in my field that does the paranormal research, they don't recognize that you have to shake it off. You have to really kind of unplug for a lot of these cases. Regards to like the different things, and some of the strangest things that's happened to me wasn't when we was working, it was when we was working, like going to different locations. Another instance, I'm on the Ghost Adventure episode, very briefly, the Natchez, Mississippi. And a long time ago, I watched the old Unsolved Mysteries, and they talked about the King's Tavern. And I loved the story, so I was hooked. So I said, we have to check that out. So we checked it out, it was really cool. And Ghost Adventure said, we want to film it. So like when we do King's Tavern and we'd bounce and go to Charleston City Jail, we would write it and document it and just hand it off to them, and they would take it, and it's almost like a help scripted for them. So I never wanted to do the TV, but they said, come on and let's do it. Because we was researching big into the UFO phenomena and some of the abduction cases. And you get into the cases, it was the case we were looking into, have y'all ever heard of Todd Cease? It's a gentleman in Pennsylvania, and he was going hunting, and he went out, checked the land. He'd been there over. His wife knew he was knew where he was going. He didn't come home. They sent out a searching vessel. They found his four-wheeler, didn't find him. Next day they sent the dogs, looked